For the last 11 years, I've focused my entire career on syncing data between mobile apps. I was passionate in the space to have joined multiple and even started a company just in this field. After years of implementing mobile apps for companies, I started to notice something. Once we sold and implemented a sync platform, we had to wait for iOS or Android engineers at the customer company to build an entire app on top. This could take over a year until they deploy because of the frequent user interface and mobile development iteration cycles. After they deployed with the sync tech, I would watch humans click buttons, enter text at an excruciating 1 to 5 bits per second. And then when people started interacting with the user interface, the sync engines would shuffle data at speeds up to 100 million times faster at 200 megabits per second. The data would move through the network, and then another human would pick up that data through a UI, read it, process it using eyes and language to another 1 to 5 bits per second, mentally process the next step, and then begin interacting with touch controls at another slow, painful 1 to 5 bits per second. A mobile device was talking to another mobile device at ungodly levels of bandwidth. However, the humans at either end of the user interface process data slower than today's communication from Earth to Pluto. If you put yourself in the perspective of a mobile app, you'd almost think the human was sub-intelligent given how close it was to you and how slow it was to respond back. Nothing shows how terrible this problem is than the release of the recent Apple Vision Pro, a marvelous yet over-engineered piece of technology. I'd like to describe it as a MacBook on your face. It has an M2 chip, an R2 chip, a fan, 12 cameras, LiDAR scanners, OLED screens, and more. All of this gear makes the device unbelievably uncomfortable, heavy, and socially unacceptable. This bulk of hardware is mostly to help us translate hand and eye movements as analogs to touch and mouse cursors by tracking and translating how the hands and pupils move about. More technology is used to compensate or even translate the slow mechanical movements of fingers, hands, eyes, and voice. So I began to think hard. With mobile sales severely slowing down, if not staying flat for some brands, that the future of computing seriously could not be technology that requires mechanical data processing through eyes, voice, and hands. The brain works insanely fast, but getting information in and out of the brain is so exhausting, inaccurate, and slow. Just to give you a context, Siri is only 76% accurate at understanding most humans' speech. Computing has gotten faster, but user interfaces are working around the limitations of physical communication through tapping, touching, clicking, reading, writing, and more. If the future of consumer computing would be AR glasses or agent-powered devices, then the interface must transcend the requirements of these hand, eye movements, gestures, and even voice. Thus, I've decided to leave my current startup to solve one of the hardest problems. How can we build a device that can help humans interact with technology at speeds that devices can operate in? This is the goal of Nora, to bring the final user interface to the masses so humans can control the digital world at speeds unseen before.